you were trying to sew a circle and you were left with an oval. Why does that happen? Why do you get an oval when clearly in the screen it looked like a perfect circle? That's because we deal with push and pull whenever we're doing embroidery. So let me just kind of give you this scenario right here. So what I did was I just put a stitch with yarn into this felt, okay? Now look what happens when I pull. Watch how I'm going to make part of this white stitch go away by pulling on it. Do you see that? Now you see a lot less of the stitch. That's why when you look at something in Design Shop and you have it nice and thick on the screen and then you sew it and it's way thinner, that's because you didn't compensate for the fact that it's going to pull and you're going to see a lot less of that thread. Plus, look what it's doing to the fabric. It's bending it, stretching it out, making it weird. And because it's doing that, that's why the right backing and the correct way that you hoop it means everything. So you have to have it digitized properly so that they compensated for the fact that it is going to pull. You have to have the right backing because the more stable the item is, the less it's going to manipulate that fabric. Like this is kind of manipulating the fabric, right? It's kind of pulling it all apart, right? So here on this oval, what's happening is it's pulling. So pulling here, and then the thread has to have somewhere to go. So it's pushing down and pushing up and leaving you with an oval. So pulling here, pushing up, and pushing down. So a great digitizer, of course, knows that this happens and he will digitize it properly. So if he digitizes it properly and you use the wrong backing, well, you have to use the right backing. So that is number one, is that your digitizer manipulates the circle so that it will actually turn out the shape that you want and not a weird egg shape. Okay. Now, I'm going to talk about how you can change the pull. I'm going to show you how you can compensate for the pull that you deal with when you're talking about fonts. So it's amazing in Design Shop. It's literally a click of a button. And of course, I'm going to show you at the end of this video how to do it. And also bonus, I'm going to show you how to do it when you buy a font from somebody and I'll show you how to go into the back end of Design Shop and you can change it there too. Because I know sometimes we buy these fonts and you're not allowed to change them, but I'm going to show you where you can do it. So easy, click of a button. Now, another thing is that whenever you're dealing with like terry cloth or something like that, you have to compensate for the fact that you're using terry cloth, okay? So look at the top one. The top one is 100% for this particular font, and I increased it to 160% because I would never want to sell that top one. Look how bad that looks. I don't even think that looks professional. The bottom one looks so much more professional, okay? So you're definitely going to want to adjust your pull compensation when you are dealing with anything that has a pile, a blanket, a towel, a robe, a fleece. You're just going to increase that pull percentage number to make it look good. And maybe something that you don't think about is things that have a pattern. Sometimes when the item is patterned, you really have to compensate for the fact that you're sewing on something patterned. So look at this fabric, and you can see that the top one is very thin and the bottom one looks 1,000,000 times better. And all I did was I went from 100 to 180 and it looks so much better, so much more professional, like you actually care about what you're doing and your customers will notice, I promise you. So let's go check it out in Design Shop and I'm going to show you how you go click, click, click to solve that problem. All right, let's talk about how we are going to adjust the pull percentage. So here you can see that for this particular font, I'm at 100. Now I'm going to just duplicate this so you can see what happens when I change it. So right here, my pull percentage right here, I'm going to pop this up to 170 and then I'm going to say enter. And so you can see that it's much bolder, much wider. Again, it depends on what you're sewing on as to what you will change here, and also the size of the letters. That will also matter as far as what you want to do. So every font is different. Let's look at this particular font. This font is very, very thin. So let me just right click. I'm going to hit duplicate just so I can show you. So right now this is at 100. I am going to double it because it's very thin, and I'm going to say enter. And so there you go. You can see the difference. And this is what I sewed on the patterned fabric. And it looks like these L's are very close together, but I promise you, because of the pull, they will not be touching. All right, here is a font that I purchased from the outside world. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click on it, which opens up object properties. And I'm going to go to scale, and right here, column width adjustment / pull compensation. I'm going to increase this number to, let's just say 150. And then when I say apply, you'll see that it makes it much bolder and compensates for the pull that it's going to do. So I would have to do that if I was sewing on something that was thicker. All right, and that is how you adjust your pull compensation.